Andy, since we last spoke, one out, one in, Brad leaves us permanently and Joe Starbuck in. What can you tell us about the situation there?
No, just with Brad, we had a chat together. He was missing game time and wanted game time, so Boston facilitated that, and we let him go with our best wishes. He started the season unbelievably, had a little dip in form, but honest lad, and like I said, we had no issues with him at all, trained really well. Just unfortunate that we've got three other centre halves at the moment in front of him. So just again, looking out for Brad as well. But yeah, it's nice to bring Joe in. He's been training for 5 weeks now, probably the world's worst kept secret. But he's a good lad, good ability, really quick, really good athlete, and they'll be pushing Ollie for a right back spot, and that's what we want. Just in case people do break down, we've got players that will step in and fill. We've got probably 2 players per position, which is really good as a squad, really good as a manager for that. So now I'm really pleased. Hopefully Joe gets a look in soon.
With Brad then, like you say, started the season really well, was probably man of the match quite a few times in August. What do you feel went wrong with his Scunthorpe career?
I think the change of formation probably didn't suit him, how he played. We changed from obviously a back 3 to a back 4. And he was limited because when you've got a limited amount of number on bench, you can't stack it with defenders. So you got to be mindful of that. But no, I don't want to say he had a poor career. I think he had a good career. It's just sometimes when you got affiliations with clubs like he has with Boston, you want to get back there. I've been there before in my career where I've been at a club and it's not quite worked out, and I want to rush back to the old club where I know what the surroundings, the fan base, the players around me. So it probably worked for Brad, and I hope he does.
In terms of Joe then, like you said, in the building for 5 weeks, what made you want to do this deal now?
Just get the opportunity to do it. There's no point in carrying too heavy a squad, and with obviously Brad leaving, it left a space vacant. So we filled it with that position. Like I said, Ollie's been fantastic. Really pleased with Ollie. Just we're mindful that he's a young lad, and what we don't want to do is go back to square one where if we lose Ollie for whatever reason, we have to go out searching. So we've got ourselves covered now, which is brilliant. What
have you seen in Joe over the past 5 weeks that makes you feel he'll fit into what we've got?
Well, he's fitted in really well from day one. His attitude to come and compete and to push. Like I said, he's got a good ability on the ball. He loves to bomb forward. Like I said, really good athlete. One of the quickest players we've got. So yeah, it's a good acquisition. Hopefully he gets a little bit of exposure before the end of the season, and like I say, he's pushing Ollie all the way now.
Seems very humble as well from what I've seen of him and spoke to him. He seems very grounded, and he's obviously had to work really hard to get a club this year, hasn't he?
Yeah. He said he actually made his debut against Scunny for Grimsby, which is a strange one. But yeah, he has to be patient, and that sometimes it shows you the real character of a person when they've been patient on a trial. And like I say, he's never moaned, grumbled about any sessions we've done. He's coming in every single time, even though he wasn't getting paid at the time because he was on trial. So now he is, and now he can really push on. And I'm not saying this, but again, next year could be an option for him as well. So if he does he makes use of this end of season period we've got now, we can look at towards next season as well.
I was going to say it's a carrot for him, isn't it? And having not had a club for a lengthy part of the season, he'll be more motivated than ever to get something sorted, wouldn't he?
Yeah, that's only one. Speaking to him, obviously discussing terms, he just wanted to play games, which again shows the character of the person that wants to get back into football no matter what cost it is. So yeah, it's good, and like I say, the fans will take to him because there's a full energy player that wants to do all the dirty parts as well, express himself when he has the ball.
Back to the squad then, obviously we touched on Tuesday night how much the late equaliser could kind of bounce things and rather than the other way around. What have you seen in training since that equaliser?
Yeah, a really good attitude from the players. Like you say, it's always nice to score an equaliser in the last minute and concede to make a draw or a loss. So yeah, it's always good. I think reflection on it, I think both teams had chances. It was a pretty end-to-end game at times. Obviously their goal allowed them to sit in a little bit, which they do really well. Like I said, they've got the best away record in the league and the best defence, so we had to be patient, had to keep probing. Another day we scored a couple of goals, but no, like I say, it was a bit of relief because obviously we knew if we lost that game we'd have allowed them 3 points, so it's good to keep them at arm's length. So and then results again round us all happen. But again, we can concentrate on ourselves first and foremost to make sure that we get maximum points against a tough Scarborough opposition.
Scarborough then obviously probably disappointed in their league position at the minute, wanting to be in them playoffs. What have you seen from them recently?
Yeah, again, I always repeat myself. They're a hard-working team. They've set up really well. Obviously, they were one of the first defeats we had in the season, so they did the homework against us. On that day, I didn't think we were very good, if I'm being brutally honest. We still had created chances, but we missed it, weren't clinical. But we've got to be wary that they've got some dangerous players in good areas. Obviously, Dominic Tier's got 15 goals this season, so he's a threat. And yeah, for me, it's going to be a tough challenge, but one we've got to roll our sleeves up and go for 3 points.
Talked to Ross Fitzsimmons yesterday about the threats, including Dom, and said, Benno as well up front will want to make an impression against us, won't he?
Yeah, players come back to the old club, always have a point to prove. So yeah, I've got to be careful. We've got to be mindful of Benno, but we've got players in the building that can deal with him. That's why they're here, because they're good players. So we know Benno's strengths and his weaknesses. But it's not just about Benno; it's about the whole 11 players we play against. They've got threats from all over the pitch. The centre half's scored quite a few goals as well, so we'll be mindful of that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the challenge because it's another opportunity where we have to be tested, we have to push ourselves, but ultimately we want the 3 points.
In terms of team news, obviously the big one was Danny Whitehall in midweek. What's the update on him?
Yeah, so Danny's going for a scan. We're going to get a scan out. Hopefully it's not too bad. It seemed a little bit like a grade 1 in his meniscus, but his medial, sorry. But yeah, we've got to get a scan before we do too much presumption there. So I like Danny seems to think he's healing quite well, and he feels a little bit free in his movements. So you never know; it could be just a little nick. That's a week or two, and then we're back on it again. He's an important player, but we've got players that we believe that can fill that position. With
him, if it does end up being a bit longer than you think, will you look elsewhere or stick with what we've got?
There's a possibility to look elsewhere. Never close that door because we still need to improve the squad, still need to get better in certain areas, and we'll always want to look into fresh it up. So yeah, there's always people out there that you can look at and see who we can bring in to make us improve us. But yeah, the squad right now I'm happy with. We've got some players out on loan that are easily recallable on a 12-hour period. So I'm not too panicky over a couple of injuries. We've still got a good squad.
With that, loans in, obviously Mo and Ollie, they're coming to a conclusion. Have you had any conversations over extending those?
Yeah, York were quite keen to get that done. They're happy with how Mo's progressing and developing here, and his game time obviously scored 2, which is brilliant. So he's getting a bit of a affinity with the fans. Yeah, and Peter were exactly the same. Happy how Ollie's developing. What we have to be mindful is Ollie's done a lot of output. He's doubling his high speed running per game from the parameters he got set early on at Peterborough. So that's why it's important we get cover.
I had a chuckle the other day. Kel's told me that he had to tell Mo that was a chant for him when he scored. It's nice that the fans are having an affinity to a lone player, isn't it?
It is, and I said that when he first came in. He's going to be that player that gets people off the seats, gets people running, running opposition. So yeah, it's always good to have that player. He's done really well. Just got to keep making sure he gets improving.
In terms of any other injuries, is everyone else okay?
Yeah, everyone else is fine. Yeah, I've got no injuries, I don't believe. So a couple have got bits and whacks and knocks, but we'll just roll them out.
And just finally, we'll finish on Ross Barrows. It looks as though his operation was quite a success. So it's just the road to recovery now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he went on Wednesday for his operation. Went to see him before the operation and make sure everything's okay. But he seemed in good spirits. Spoke to him yesterday. He was a little bit sore. I think he's sore today. So, like I say, it's the first few days into the step of a long road to recovery. But each one he's got to take the challenge head on, and if you do, you come better off the other side.
I know we'll speak to him throughout the journey because he's keen to log it and things like that. But even I was fascinated that a couple of hours after the operation he's bending it and everything like that. It is bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, so I've been informed. It's always good to get the bend started straight away, just to help when you've got pain relief. It's better to do it than not. Just got to be careful, don't push it too far. And I know Ross is a good honest pro, and he'll do his bits. When I went there, he had all his shots that he'd been researching to help him recover. So yeah, Ross will do everything. We've got the physio staff here are brilliant as well, so we'll make sure he recovers properly.